Throughout the Bible, there are stories that capture the imagination, stories of faith, redemption, and divine intervention. But there are a few stories, in particular, that are both mysterious and awe-inspiring. The accounts of men who went to heaven without ever tasting death. These men, Enoch and Elijah, were chosen by God to transcend mortality in a way that few others have. The first man recorded in Scripture to be taken up into heaven without dying is Enoch. His story begins in the book of Genesis, where he is introduced as the great-grandfather of Noah. Enoch lived 3 years, short by the standards of his time. But what set him apart wasn't his lifespan, it was his walk with God. The Bible tells us that Enoch walked with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. Enoch's walk with God was so intimate, so faithful, that God decided to spare him the experience of death altogether. He was taken directly into God's presence, a mysterious and miraculous event that left no explanation, only awe. In Hebrews 11:5, the New Testament reinforces this remarkable story. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. Enoch's life was a testimony to the power of walking faithfully with God. And his sudden departure continues to spark wonder and curiosity among believers. The second man who experienced this divine phenomenon was the prophet Elijah. Elijah, known for his boldness in confronting kings, his miracles, and his unwavering faith, had his own incredible departure. As Elijah, time on earth drew to a close, he knew that God was about to take him away. Elijah and his apprentice, Elisha, traveled together from Gilgal to Bethel, then to Jericho, and finally to the Jordan River. Along the way, Elisha, who had seen the miracles of Elijah, was told by his master to stay behind, but he refused. At the Jordan River, Elijah took off his cloak, struck the waters, and the river parted before them. As they crossed, Elijah asked Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha, filled with faith, asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit. And just as they were walking and talking, a chariot of fire, drawn by horses, of fire, appeared and separated them. The whirlwind came, and Elijah was taken up into heaven in a whirlwind, without ever experiencing death. Elisha, left standing alone, cried out, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel." The event was a visible sign of Elijah's righteousness and his unique relationship with God. This moment also foreshadowed the divine intervention that would one day bring Christ back to earth. Elijah's ascension into heaven was a powerful testimony to God's power and to the prophet's faithfulness. He is one of only 2 people in Scripture who did not die but was taken into heaven alive. So why were these 2 men chosen for such a remarkable fate? The Bible doesn't give us all the answers, but their lives offer powerful lessons. Enoch's walk with God is a model of intimate faith and devotion. Elijah's boldness and courage in confronting evil serve as an example of standing firm for God's truth.